Hello students. Today we are going to learn chapter 5 of business studies part 1, that is organizing chapter. First let's understand what is organizing. See, of course in this session we are going to study the concept of organizing, the process, the steps, the importance. Now first let's understand what exactly organizing is. Let's say, for example, if there is a party or which you are going to organize or which you have to arrange, let's say it's a birthday party. How will you organize your birthday party if you are responsible to make all the arrangements? Of course, you have to plan, right? So once the planning has been done and the objectives have been specified, the next step is to organize all the resources. You have already planned that you are going to give a birthday party. Now the next step would be planning of various activities which has to be done. And once this planning is done, once the objectives have been specified, the next step would be to organize the resources. Now, how will you organize these resources? Of course, you will list down the activities to be done. First thing you will do is prepare the list of invitees. You will contact the decorators. You will make an arrangement for the cake. You will invite the people, or either by call or email or messages. So this way, there are so many activities which has to be performed. Now, when you organize, it's not possible for you to do all these tasks all alone. So what are you going to do? You're going to divide this task among the various people. Maybe you'll ask your family member to prepare the list of invitees. You will ask your friend to order for a cake. You'll ask somebody to make arrangements for decoration. Maybe you will contact the event management for organizing and birthday party. So they are going to take care of the whole thing altogether. The options are many. So it is very important after planning that organizing has to be smooth. Now, organizing of the resources will be done in such a manner that they lead to accomplishment of objective. So a critical issue in accomplishing the goal specified in the planning process is structuring of work of an organization to adapt to the dynamics of business environment. Now, first let's understand what organizing is. It implies a process which coordinates the human efforts. Now, when you are organizing, which means you are, of course, coordinating all the human efforts, assembling all the resources, and then integrating them together. Now, it can be defined as a process that initiates implementation of plans, which means whatever you have planned, if you are implementing them, clarifying the job, dividing the working among the various people in your organization, coordination, all that comes a part of organizing. So you are effectively deploying the resources for the attainment of the objective of organization. Now, what are the steps in organizing? There is a series of steps which has to be followed while any activity is being undertaken. So essentially, it can be understood from the definition given that organizing is the process of defining and grouping the activities of an enterprise and establishing the authority relationship among them. Now, it's very important that when you are organizing certain operations or activity in your business firm, you have to divide and group the activities. That means you are dividing the work in 3 R's. That is right person at the right place at the right time. So once you follow this 3 R's, that is right person at the right place at the right time. Let's say, for example, you had organized everything, now you just have to implement. But if an engineer is put into clerical department or administrative department, will he be able to perform well? No, because that's the wrong person at the wrong place at the wrong time. He is not meant for that. So it's very essential that when you organize all the activity, or when you define the activity, or when you group the activity, it should be on the basis of skill, knowledge, experience, the qualification, background which he belongs to. Now, the first step in organizing is identification and division of work. So, identify the work, that what are the activities has to be done in to achieve that particular goal. So, identify the work, divide them into manageable activities so that there is no duplication of work. Here we are talking about business, but let me give you an example so that you can correlate with the business. Of course, this is nothing related to business, but I want you to understand the concept. Let's take the same example of birthday party. You had series of work to be done to accomplish the goal of your birthday party, to have a good successful birthday party. So one has to contact decorator, one has to contact the cake baker, one has to go for decoration, catering, etc., etc. So now you will, if there are seven set of activities which have to be done, then you have to divide that work and manage those work, that nothing is repeated. If I ask two people to order the cake, obviously there would be duplication of work. So if you want to avoid the duplication of work, then you should divide the work and give the right instruction. So there is no duplication of work in business, because when there is a duplication of work, it increases the cost of production. So proper organizing will enable the sharing of burden of work among the employees. The second step is departmentalization. Now, after the division of work is done into small or manageable activities, those activities which are of similar nature, they are grouped together. Let's say, for example, this grouping process is called departmentalization. If there are set of activities which are similar in nature, I am going to group them into one. So they will belong to one particular department. Department can be created using several criteria. Like, let's say, for example, if I am to launch a product, I'll divide them on the basis of territory. Or if I want to make any expansion or organize certain events, I'll divide those events to be performed on the basis of zones or territory, as to north zone, south zone, east and west. So departmentalization is the second step. The third step is assignment of duties. That is, defining the work and allocation of work to the employee is extremely important. After departmentalization, employees are placed under the charge of an individual. Like, let's say, for example, I have 10 people working under me. Very well, I have to assign the duties very clearly. Number one, so that there is no duplication of work. Number two, so that we can achieve the goal easily. So it is very important that all the duties must be assigned among the employees so that they are very clear with their job profile. Allocation of job is done on the basis of skill and competencies, as I said, that there has to be right person at the right place at the right time. So it is essential for effective performance that a proper match is made between the nature of the job and ability of the individual. If I'm not good in communication, how can I be placed in marketing department, or how can I be placed in sales department? So it is very important that the nature of job should match with the ability of the individual. That is, assignment of duties has to be right. The fourth step is establishing reporting relationships. See, mere allocation of work is not enough. It is never enough. Because if I ask 10 subordinates who are working under me, if I assign them the duty, it is my responsibility to take the feedback, to know whether the expected performance is matching with the actual performance or not. So each individual should know what he or she is accountable to. Establishment of such relationship helps to create a hierarchical structure. And when there is a smooth flow of communication, which means if there is no communication gap, if there is proper command, then it would help in coordination among the various departments. So these are the steps in the process of organizing. Now let's understand why organizing is important. Performance of organizing function can provide smooth transition. As I said, that to have a smooth flow of all the operations or activities in an organization, it is important to organize Even when we go for a tour, we organize things, we plan, and after planning, we organize that we have packed the luggages, we have made, we have organized a tour package which is suitable to our budget. We organize and we arrange where we are going to stay. We organize and we manage which are the places to be, good, which places are good for sightseeing. So after planning, organizing takes place. So significance of organizing mainly arises from the fact that it helps in survival and growth of the enterprise. So organizing equips the business enterprise to meet various challenges. Now, the first importance of organizing is benefits of specialization. As I said, that organizing leads to systematic allocation of job among the workforce, among the manpower. When everything is organized and allocated systematically according to their skill and ability of the labor, then it reduces the workload. And when I am doing the same job again and again, I become specialized in that particular activity. So specific workers performing specific job on the regular basis gives them specialization in that particular task. So this repetitive performance of particular task allow them to gain experience in that area, and eventually it leads to specialization. The second importance is clarity in working relationships. When we organize things in business, then it clarifies the line of communication. Like, let's say, for example, if I have 5 subordinates working under me and I have assigned them the duties, the authorities, and responsibilities, they are very clear as to whom they have to report to. But let's say if they have two bosses and there are two different instructions from both the bosses, what will happen? There would be communication gap, there would be miscommunication. So organizing helps you to have a clear communication, and it also removes ambiguity in transfer of information and instruction. Now, when there is a clarity in working relationship, it helps in having a proper hierarchical order. If you observe in an organization, when any level of management, be it top level, middle management, or the lower management, it's always the hierarchical. The communication always flow either from upward to downward or downward to upward. Which means if worker is having any problem, he'll not directly go to the director of the company. He would obviously take his issues or problems or grievance with his superior, or let's say supervisor. Supervisor in turn would go to the departmental head. Departmental head would in turn go to the manager of the company. And then this is how the communication flows. So proper organizing helps in creating hierarchical order, enables fixation of responsibility. The third thing is optimum utilization of resources. This is most important feature of organizing, because organizing leads to proper usage of all the resources, be it material resource, be it financial resource, or be it human resource. Because when we organize, we are doing the work systematically in certain particular order. So proper assignment of jobs avoids overlapping of work. And it also, as I had mentioned, it avoids duplication of work. The next importance is adaptation to change. Organizing allows the organization structure to be suitably modified. That is, when there is an interrelationship at all the managerial level, be it top management or middle or the lower. And when there is proper organizing in the company, then it would lead to smooth transition between all the levels of management. And it would also provide the stability in the organization, which would lead to good, stable, or sustainable growth. Effective administration. Now, what does this mean? When you have an effective administration, it's very smooth for any organization to achieve the goal of the company, because this provides a clear description of job and related duties. As I had said, that if the job profile which is being given or which is being instructed to the employees in the right manner, it would help to avoid confusion and duplication of work. And when there is a clarity in work, obviously the execution of work would be right. So management of enterprise thereby comes or becomes very easy, and this brings effectiveness in administration. The other importance of organizing is development of personnel. Of course, organizing stimulates the creativity among the managers, and effective delegation of work allows the manager to reduce their workload. Like, let's say, for example, if I have 10 subordinates working under me, if I'm allotting or delegating the work among all the subordinates, I'm assigning the duties to them, responsibilities to them, then my workload becomes easier. So delegation is not only necessary because of limited capacity of an individual, but it also allows the manager to develop a new method of performing tasks. Because when you give space to your employees in terms of innovation or creative thinking, then they can give more input to the production. Now, organizing, of course, provides time to explore area for growth and opportunity. And if there is proper delegation of work, then it would help the subordinate to develop their ability to deal with the challenges. Because when I give the authority or when I assign the responsibility, the employee or the subordinate would take the responsibility of achieving that task. The next importance is expansion and growth. Now, organizing, of course, helps in growth and diversification of enterprising. It also allows the business enterprise to add more job position, departments, or diversifying the product line, or even add new geographical territories. Because organizing, as I said, it is a process by which manager brings order out of chaos. That means we are dividing the work, delegating the work, allocating the resources, which would ultimately lead to proper teamwork. This would help the company to work in a smooth manner, and ultimately it would lead to more production or more output. So that is it for this session. In the next session, we are going to continue with the organization structure, and in that next session, we are going to learn about the functional and divisional structure of an organization. Thank you very much.